Hey everyone, with the increasing amount of electric cars nowadays, there's got to be a way to effectively power them. And I'm here with Paul Gill, CEO of Lomiko Metals. Paul, thanks for joining us on the show.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
Now, before we get into what you guys do and all the aspects and all the exciting questions we have, first tell me a little bit about what Lomiko Metals does.
Well, we formed Lomiko Metals to look at what opportunities there are in the green economy. So we narrowed down a lot of different choices, which included IoT and other things like that, to electric vehicles. We feel electric vehicles are going to be the big thing for the 2020s.
2020 is just right around the corner. And gas-powered vehicles, the raw material is oil. For electric vehicles, what's the raw material that we need in order to power those?
Yeah, the raw materials that go into an electric vehicle, lithium-ion battery, are lithium, graphite, cobalt, and nickel. The interesting thing is that lithium has had a lot of attention in the last little while, but some of the other materials, such as graphite, haven't. And one of the key things that's very important to understand is that we don't have any graphite production here in North America except for one mine. And they don't make the electrodes or the anodes that go into electric vehicle batteries. So we're in a bit of a shortfall situation. So we've got a real opportunity to get into that market, make those anodes, and that's what Lomiko's all about right now.
Now, Lomiko has actually found a nice spot for graphite, haven't you guys?
Yeah, there's certain trends around the world for graphite, and they go anywhere between Sri Lanka to Madagascar, Mozambique, Namibia, China. But there happens to be one between Ottawa, Ontario, and Baie-Comeau, Quebec, and it runs along the St. Lawrence River, and we happen to be right there, just north of the town of Montreal.
Oh, wow.
And so we're really located close to infrastructure, which is vitally important to get that material out to the East Coast and other places. And we're also in a situation where we have roads right to the property, which is never the case usually in big mining situations. You usually have to build them. So we've got a number of really good things going for us. But the number one thing that's going for us is the only mine in North America is right north of us by 50 miles. So we know that it's a great location, and they're running out of ore, so we might have a chance to sell that material to them.
So you're not sourcing this material from another country, but you guys are the provider for this material.
Yeah, I think the key value add here for this particular material is that you can take the material out of the ground as carbon graphite, convert it to spherical graphite, and put it into a form called a graphite anode. Those anodes are used in the electric vehicle battery, and it's vitally important to have that. I mean, when we look at the kind of supply chain that the normal industrial internal combustion car has, I mean, it's massive. There's huge jobs and opportunities being created for business everywhere in North America because of the normal car. Well, if we're going to do that and convert to the electric vehicle, we have to have those supply chains in place, and let's have them here in North America, because what's really happening now is China is taking over in the electric vehicle space. They've got 50 factories ready to go right now to build lithium-ion batteries. We don't have more than a handful here, and that's including the big one that Tesla built in Nevada.
Oh, wow.
So if we're going to take part in this electric vehicle revolution, and I think that's really what it is, it's an electric vehicle revolution, we need to be on top of where the supply of materials comes from. So it's not just about technology, it's all about the value in the supply chain, and I think we can create that through our company.
You know, we have a lot of geeks on our show that watch that are car geeks, are tech geeks, but sometimes we don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. We don't understand that in order for an electric car to run, we need graphite. And you guys also take that and you take it and you turn it into graphene, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, we can convert it to graphene, which is incredible material. I mean, that's a real cutting edge material. The scientists that discovered how to synthesize graphene won the Nobel Prize in 2010. So they have a really, of scientists in the world today have a really high opinion. In fact, I think the last count, there was 15,000 patents related to the use of graphene. So this is a material that's super conductive at room temperatures. It's flexible, pliable, and has heat resistivity. So it's going to have a lot of inroads. In fact, I just tried out the Chrome Soft graphene core golf ball recently.
Really?
So I don't know if it worked for me. I ended up in the sand a lot, but it seemed like it did fly pretty true. And those are things to think about. That's one application. Tennis rackets, anywhere carbon fiber is used is the first sort of inroad. So we think there's a big routine, but it all starts with the material. You have to have graphite to make that material and make it economically on a large scale.
So there's benefits to the electronic car industry, but then also, by changing it into graphene, there's a lot of different possibilities that you can go into. And graphene is pretty strong too, isn't it?
Yeah, very super strong. In fact, as a coating, it creates a lot of strength to anything that you coat with the graphene paint material. But what's really interesting is that now with the new advent of additive manufacturing using 3D printing, you can actually make materials and using this conductive material as a conductor and replace copper wires.
Oh wow!
So imagine that. You're basically making. At one point, we had a sister company of ours print a lithium-ion battery.
Oh wow!
And it was quite expensive, and it was a prototype. But just the idea that could be done means that you could print just about anything.
Yeah.
In fact, graphene recently, which was a really interesting situation, is that they printed organs such as the liver and kidneys, which are in very short supply when it comes to organ donating.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have a lot of demand for it. If we can create synthetic materials that are able to meld into the human body, I mean, that's a real game changer in our health and longevity.
That's amazing. And 10 years down from the line from here, I imagine things are going to be a lot different. Like you said, we're going to be printing different objects with the material, but I imagine also with the rise of electronic cars, you're going to be the company that we need to go to in order to keep our cars running.
Well, yeah, I think we'd like to be that company that has the materials and then works its way up the value chain. But I think the most poignant part of this, and that everyone has to understand about technological change, is that in 1980, almost nobody had a computer. By 1990, everyone had one.
Yeah.
1990, no one had the internet. No one even heard of Google. And by 2000, everyone had the internet. And in 2000, no one had a smartphone. By 2010, everyone had a smartphone. 2010, no one had social media, and hey, we're going out on social media right now.
We're buying stuff on social media.
So things change, but you have to be watching for them and look for those fantastic changes that are coming to our society, as not just to participate as a consumer, but participate as an investor. That's what we're looking to do. Is the last company I was involved in the 1980s sold a big copper project. But we made 9,000% return on that project. And I think that if people who are interested in the future are really looking at what's going to happen next, look at what we're doing and what's happening, electric vehicles, they'll see that we have the opportunity to really create a lot of wealth. And I think that's really important.
That's amazing. And our viewers or anybody who watches this video, if they want to get involved, if they want to become an investor, what's the best way to connect with Lomiko Metals? What's the best way to connect with you, to have some questions answered? What's the best way to learn more and to get involved?
Yeah, we have a website called lomiko.com, Lomiko.com. We have an email, info@lomiko.com, and our stock symbol, we traded on the OTCQB, is LMRMF, and in Canada it's LMR. So there's a number of ways to investigate and thoroughly do some research on this company. We have a really good research section of our website, which has videos and articles on the material, and we really can't be more encouraging to people than we are now. We're out here, we're talking to you down here in Utah, and next it's Arizona, and possibly we have a representative going to New York. We're really trying to get out there and talk about this opportunity, because when you see an opportunity like this that is out there, in applying your knowledge and your money to make wealth in a whole new industry and really change the world, this is the way to do it.
That's amazing. And this is very exciting too.
Yeah.
And this is really going to change things, and it's an exciting time to be involved in it.
Yeah, we really think that some of the Bloomberg material shows the electric vehicle taking off in around 2020, 2021. We're seeing more and more on the road today. I don't think anyone can drive today on the roads and not see an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be that way for a Volkswagen. You used to, play that game Punch Buggy with your kids when you were kids, right?
Yeah.
Well, now it's like you might as well use the electric vehicles for that big, because it's gone to the point where you see one maybe once every hour or half an hour, and it'll be more and more and more. But also think about the gas prices right now. I mean, we're having a crisis up in our location, Vancouver, Canada, where gas prices are almost $5 a gallon. Now, that's getting untenable, and so almost everyone is going to be looking at switching simply because it's economically feasible. And I think that's the key to the real takeoff for electric vehicles, is that it not only makes sense for the environment, but it also makes sense for your pocketbook. And I think that's what really motivates people on a day-to-day basis, and I think we're there.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's right here in North America. We don't have to ship those products all over the place. Now, Paul and I are going to be coming up with a new, instead of Slug Bug Blue, we're going to come up with a new electric car thing. But before we tell you about that, I want you guys to go check out Paul's website, Lomiko.com. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. Check out Lomiko.com. If you want to be invested in a really exciting company that's going to be shaping the way of our electronic car future and more, check out Lomiko Metals and connect with Paul here. He'll be able to answer any questions. Paul, thanks so much for coming out here and joining us on the show.
Thanks very much, Bill.